So how's it going, Hellblazers? Yes, welcome to a brand new video breakdown and kind of explained video as to what the heck is going on with this brand new news that we got on this new HBO Max Constantine series. But then, amongst hearing that, you may be like, but what, oh yeah, what happened to the Justice League Dark series that was meant to be coming to HBO Max? This is going to be a deep dive into all of that, what I think of this Constantine news, going over the Justice League Dark and how, you know, that is still in the works. So I've actually heard for the longest time, I think even before the whole Justice League Dark stuff was spoken about going to HBO Max from Bad Robot, that a Constantine series coming HBO Max's way was a thing for quite some time. And as the Illuminati article points out here, the world of DC movies and TV shows is about to go through a major expansion over the next few years in multiple and unique franchises. And this is so true. I mean, think about it. We've got quite a few things coming HBO Max's way on top of Titans, Doom Patrol, Stargirl, and all of that already. But we've got like Strange Adventures, the Green Lantern Corps series. There's even more coming down the road, but there's a lot coming their way on top of the announcement that we got that J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot Productions was helming, or spearheading if you will, a whole Justice League Dark universe in terms of TV show ideas and movies. And as for that side of the camp, with Constantine now, it seems like that ball is really starting to roll. Now, as far as I know, the Illuminati is seen as reliable. But anyway, what the Illuminati has to say is the following. Our sources have revealed that HBO Max is working with J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot Productions company to make a new series centered around the DC hero Constantine. The logline describes the show as a darker reinvention of the character that will be different from any previous project based on the character. It will be less focused on religion and more focused on the horror elements from the Constantine comics. The production is currently searching for an actor for the lead role with the hopes of casting a BIPOC actor in their late 20s, similar to the young Riz Ahmed. The show will also be written by Guy Bolton. As is the case with these casting calls, HBO Max and J.J. Abrams don't appear to be specifically targeting Riz Ahmed. However, using his look as a starting point should make for an exciting new version of one of DC's most notable anti-heroes. Before I give my thoughts on what they're saying about what could be coming to Constantine, with already kind of an actor's look in mind with Riz Ahmed, you may have seen him in some of his work in Rogue One or Venom, but yeah, first let's talk about the Justice League Dark TV series and what the heck is going on with that. I mean, how do these shows interlink and just what the heck are they cooking up behind the scenes at HBO Max? Well, what's interesting about this is that Bad Robot Productions was spearheading, if you will, multiple projects, one of them, as reported by Deadline last year, being both film and TV ideas based on DC's Justice League Dark universe at Warner Brothers. At the time, they did go on to say that this deal is very nascent and at this point in time, there aren't any specific projects or characters that are being specifically developed out of the franchise. Now, all of this was being said very early 2020 when all of this news was fairly new and they didn't truly know what was going on with it at the time in terms of any specific characters, but now we kind of know John Constantine. But this is kind of now making me ponder the fact that this could actually be that instead of us first getting some kind of Justice League Dark actual TV show or HBO Max movie, what this could mean instead is that with the recent John Constantine chatter, is that this Constantine series is actually the beginning of what was perhaps reported back then. So if you're a little bit confused, let's first wind back the clocks a little bit so we make sure that we have all of the details. Back in April last year, it was reported by many outlets, one being The Verge, that J.J. Abrams is taking on the popular comic book series Justice League Dark as a new producing project under his Bad Robot Productions label, adapting it into a series for Warner Media's upcoming streaming service, HBO Max. Now, Warner Media hasn't announced any details about the project other than it will live exclusively on the streaming service. Justice League Dark is an ongoing comic book series that focuses on the more supernatural characters that appear within the DC universe, including John Constantine, which is, funnily enough, now we're hearing about the first solo show coming out of all of that world and universe projects that they were looking into is indeed Constantine. From various other places along the way, there wasn't massive amounts of updates from then till now. We actually got a tip from TV Line last month, so January 2021. So this being the most recent update on the provisional Justice League Dark show announcement and universe they were getting into with Bad Robot Productions, is that when TV Line was asked, is Justice League Dark still happening on HBO Max? Because if Swamp Thing's not happening on the the CW. That show might have the character. And then they reply that, yes, I am assured that Justice League Dark is still in development at the streamer. So more or less, bottom line here is that J.J. Abrams more or less kind of made a deal with HBO Max where he will essentially be making these potential shows and movies based on the Justice League Dark characters. The first one that we officially got word from way back in 2020 was the actual official Justice League Dark show / series itself. But now it also appears that the first solo series we're getting out of this whole world, which were the most recent updates, is the Constantine one. However, the ambiguity that now still remains is what one will come first, because technically Justice League Dark, the series, was the thing spoken about first, with the broader scope of, oh, you know, other things for other characters, and then lo and behold, you know, the first one being Constantine, which actually isn't a massive surprise. But the slightly confusing thing is now we're hearing chatter about this Constantine show at HBO Max. It's like, which one will actually be coming first? The Justice League Dark one or the Constantine one? And that's basically where we are at now. We've got the latest report from the Illuminati. This follows suit with everything that has been discussed last year with Bad Robot having all of these rights and, you know, project ideas about a Justice League Dark series, but also multiple ideas for individual characters coming out of that. Now we're hearing about John Constantine, which is absolutely amazing to me. It makes sense to maybe do the solo series first. I mean, it makes sense both ways, to be honest, because then you could branch that into Justice League Dark, and at least we would already know and be familiar with one character and the actor who plays him from his own series at HBO Max first, and then going into the Justice League Dark movie with whatever's going on at HBO Max or TV series. But at the same time, maybe they might want to do the original announced thing, which was the Justice League Dark series at HBO Max, and then out of that, we take that actor out of John Constantine and we have his show set afterwards. And then maybe if all of that's popular with all the other characters they would have cast in the Justice League Dark series, you know, they could do a Swamp Thing again, or they could do somebody else, you know. But first, obviously, the priority is Constantine, which doesn't surprise me because, well, John Bloody Constantine, you know, that is something I think I would probably pick first out of the whole of the Justice League Dark, but that's, you know, biased to me. I love John Constantine. I can't wait to have, and this is one thing I've echoed for ages, and now I can get into my thoughts about what I think about this recent chatter. The most recent updates being the Constantine series coming to HBO Max. And that is, I have wanted this. Look, I know there's going to be comments down in the comment section below talking about Matt Ryan. So I remember watching his series. I can't remember what network it was on. I really liked it at the time. Then I was very happy that they kind of bled him into the Arrowverse a little bit, but he really hasn't been used to his full potential. And when he kind of did, though, however, I do want to kind of interject there on what I just said. He did kind of get brought into Legends, but it's not, even though he does fit, Legends isn't necessarily for everyone. And I guess for a Hellblazer fan, a dedicated John Constantine fan, they would want a dark and grittier HBO Max, much more adult themed, much more mature themed show, rather than what they see on Legends of Tomorrow. Now, very importantly here for me to state, that's not me knocking Matt Ryan at all. I think he was a really good John Constantine, but I do feel like the lines got a bit blurred with what work he was given in Legends of Tomorrow, and it's just not. Yeah, you have a cool casting for John Constantine, but he's not in the very perfect place he should be in. For example, this upcoming HBO Max show would probably be that place I'm talking about. So, all in all, Matt Ryan, yeah, cool, but I'm not going to be one of those people saying, oh no, I wish it was Matt Ryan who got his own HBO Max show. Like, I get what you're saying, but no, we really need a blank canvas. We need something hardcore, damn good on HBO Max in this new kind of enterprise that Bad Robot Productions is taking on, helmed by J.J. Abrams, obviously, with this Justice League Dark universe based on multiple projects potentially with the Justice League Dark characters. Numero one, obviously, helming it is John Constantine himself. Not so surprising when you do think about it, because a Constantine dark, grittier, more mature themed freaking Constantine series on HBO Max, that is a no-brainer. But what do I think about what the Illuminati has to say, though? Because they did say some interesting things, some noticeable differences, and it'll be very interesting to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. So they say that the logline describes the show as a darker reinvention of the character. I'm completely fine with that. I really am with HBO Max's darker themes. I think that's why Constantine has such a home there. But it says that will be different from any previous project based on the character. Okay, well, other than the recent TV series, we kind of got that merged into the Arrowverse, and then Keanu Reeves. We haven't seen him too much, if you think about it. But then they say it will be less focused on religion and more focused on the horror element. So that's some good news and some I don't know how to feel news. Like, obviously, the Constantine comics, they do have a lot of horror elements in it, and I think it's going to be more depicted in terms of what Swamp Thing did. That was quite horror-esque vibes, which is very accurate, but I kind of less focused on religion. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for the horror elements of Constantine here that they're apparently helming with this show, but I feel like the religious parts of it are very important as well. I guess the thing I want to focus on here is they say that it's less focused on religion. That doesn't mean there's no religion in it at all, which if they just cut that out completely, it's like, yeah, we would see some cool stuff with John doing this, that, and the other with the horror elements, but nah, it's quite important that we get the demonic side of things as well. So I hope they don't completely drop that, and it doesn't seem that they are, because they are stating that it's less focused on it. But I think one of the most alluring things for me with John Constantine, or just any kind of spiritual kind of characters like this, is that they do bleed into the devil side of things, or the divine angel and God side. Whenever that stuff enters a TV show, you have to be very careful, but it can be very alluring because it's kind of breaching that veil of the fine line between the reality of things and then the divine side and then the devil side. And that's what I really love about John Constantine, and how he's just this human magical guy who like has that bridge and availability to communicate with beings on those planes. I've always found that so interesting, at least to me. Late 20s sounds interesting because, you know, I always picture John to be in his mid-30s or so, give or take, but late 20s might give an interesting take. But another thing that they detail, which would be very interesting to hear the fans' thoughts about this in the comments, is that they say they are in hopes of casting a black, indigenous, and person of color actor in their late 20s, and as I said, similar to that of a young kind of Riz Ahmed. And obviously that will be kind of race bending the character, and this is also interesting because recently I did the Sandman update where they've kind of gender bent Lucifer. But then again, if you technically get into that a little bit deeper, angels have been seen to kind of like blur the line between gender, so like some people were saying that when sticking up for Gwendolyn Christie playing Lucifer. I personally don't have a massive issue with that at all. I think Gwendolyn Christie will really kill it as Lucifer in the Sandman. Like, I can really picture her as Lucifer. I know that sounds weird because some people absolutely hate the idea of that, but in terms of Constantine and their hopeful casting in mind for and I'm just going to say the abbreviation instead of saying it every single time, but BIPOC actor, that's going to be interesting to see people's responses. This always sparks an interesting debate from people in the comments. Some people are fine with it, some people are like, I can't understand it, but why do that? Or then some people are like, why not do that? It always sparks like several different freaking spider webs of thoughts about it. Personally, I think if they cast, the thing that's important to me is the actor. That's all that matters to me, and the performance they give. I like to think that if they're making a Constantine show and you have the casting director hit, like you have somebody who is familiar with what this show wants to do and strive to do, and they're looking for that right John Constantine, it doesn't matter where or who or wherever under the sun a person may come from, as long as they are literally the person for the role, that is the important thing at the end of the day. And that is why I feel very strongly, you know, when drawing comparisons to the gender-bent Lucifer, if you will, as I said, because lots of people like to comment that in the source material, angels aren't necessarily either this way or that way with genders. But back onto point, like, I think Gwendolyn Christie, especially after seeing her work, she's going to be a very compelling Lucifer. So that's a bit of a weird comparison because this isn't a gender change, but I'm just thinking, why can't anyone for that matter make a compelling John Constantine? But I think for me, I'm just dead hyped about hearing like the ball is rolling, so to speak, with John Constantine at HBO Max. It's been really odd with this whole Justice League Dark thing. That's where I'm going to leave this video today. It's been announced ever since early 2020 that this was a thing. They were looking into it with multiple characters, multiple projects, and we heard that a Justice League Dark series is in the works all the way back then, with also in mind other projects as well for other characters. Now we're hearing that the first character-based thing is likely going to be a John Constantine thing at HBO Max, but as of January 2021, at TV Line, they are still absolutely assured, like they've been assured that the Justice League Dark series is still in the works as well. So what do you think could come first? I would love to know your thoughts on that. What do you think would be best to come first, maybe? What do you think in terms of the casting for John Constantine, in terms of them hoping for a BIPOC actor in their late 20s, similar to that of a young Riz Ahmed? At the end of the day, for me, I'm just absolutely ecstatic at the idea of something that I've been saying for the past few years, is that we need a Constantine series at HBO. Originally, I was saying, like, went back before this even was a thing and DC Universe was still a thing, with the vibe of Titans, Doom Patrol, and what they could do there. I thought, wow, a Constantine series at DC Universe. But now, all those shows are at HBO Max. A Constantine series at HBO. Oh, look, it seems to be happening. Make sure you subscribe for any and all updates with regards to John Constantine at HBO Max and Justice League Dark for that matter. And let me know if you want to see any other additional videos or maybe what I would like to see from a Constantine series. This was more just of an update and explained video. Check out my links in the top pinned comment. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you Hellblazers in the next video. Goodbye.